In this chapter, we actually got new information on Yuji's curse technique and what it could be, and also an official design for it too. And we also had Kenjaku out-comedy Takaba. He actually just out-funnied him. Takaba's whole thing was do the funny Takaba, but he just lost in it. It's pretty crazy. The whole stick of being funny just got outdone by Kenjaku, which is really surprising. I mean, I thought Kenjaku would have just opened a domain and one-shot him that way, but no, I guess the Heian comedy just cleared that badly. And Takaba looks like he's about to die right now. And there's also some Yuta and Angel talk in this chapter too. Man, there is a lot to talk about, so trust me, you're definitely going to stick around all the way until the end. So hey, do your boy solid, it helps out a ton, thank you very much. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content. I got a ton of crazy theory videos, spoiler videos on chapters just like this one, analysis videos, power scaling, and less than 10% of people who actually watch my channel are subscribed. So trust me, if you love JJK, I guarantee you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to the special members of the channel. Alright, let us get into this JJK 240 spoiler video. Now I'll actually start off going chronologically with how the chapter started off. So we actually see that Angel completely sold out Takaba. It was pretty bad. I don't know why they would do this. I mean, it's really funny, but considering the fact that Takaba actually saved Angel's life, and now Angel just ratted them out and threw them out for the cats to eat, for Kenjaku to just hunt him down. As Angel has actually figured out what Takaba's curse technique is, and it's like, oh, maybe this person can actually stand chance against Kenjaku. Because they were actually discussing jumping Kenjaku. You know, of course, it's Jump Kaisen. It's not Jujutsu Kaisen if someone's not getting jumped, or if they're not planning on jumping someone, so that's that. And they're actually worried that if they all fight Sukuna, they might be too injured or have too little cursed energy to actually take on Kenjaku, because Kenjaku is a very strong character and they want to be at max HP when they fight him. They're worried if they aren't, they might just lose. Kenjaku is that powerful. And they were even considering just sending off Maki as an assassin, since they do believe that Maki could sneak up on him and just maybe one-shot him when Kenjaku isn't aware. This is a bad look, by the way, since they are completely oblivious to the fact that Kenjaku can actually monitor Maki, so they think that he can't, and they think Maki can go undetected, which isn't the case. We know can track Maki. He's actually got full eyes on her, so they do need to be careful about that. But yeah, Angel just suggests that they throw Takaba to the wolves, literally just to fight Kenjaku solo. And when we go back to the fight, we see Kenjaku actually attacking Takaba with Geto's centipede curses, so we did actually see this in the JJK Zero movie, and I think Yuta actually just dealt with it by using curse speech manipulation, so they're not that strong. This is very funny because in the page, Takaba makes this super goofy face. It's so hilarious. And Kenjaku realizes that his curse technique was completely rejected. Takaba then makes Kenjaku wear an American flag and bandana and says in English, "You can't win against me." It was really funny seeing Kenjaku wear that. He looked like a biker. It was quite hilarious. You know, I could see the bald eagles flying in the background. But it's really interesting because Takaba actually created it into life. Kenjaku had to remove the sunglasses and the hat that came on him. Kenjaku thinks that Takaba's curse technique must be about creating phenomena, where he forcefully materializes his imagination. He's not wrong, but he's just missing the finer details of the curse technique. So he's right, but obviously there are conditions to it, which Kenjaku himself realizes. You know, I'll probably point out the weak point. Every curse technique has a weakness. Like, this guy thinks he's Itachi, right? Every jutsu has a weakness. Alright, Itachi. And Kenjaku realizes that his 1,000 years of information won't work against Takaba. And it seems like Kenjaku already figured it out, because right off the bat, he just unloads onto Takaba. He even questions, is that funny because of your bad performance? And Takaba says, you made every comedian angry. And then Kenjaku just goes into extreme depth about it. So he's saying, I didn't like this aspect of the joke, and he's saying it doesn't make sense. And Takaba's just attacking him, saying, you fishy smelly monk. And after they discuss, they talk quite a lot. I'll actually have the text on the page. Takaba's like, wait, does this guy like comedy? And obviously it's Kenjaku, so he kind of does. And Takaba says that Kenjaku's face is written, make me laugh all over it. He shall make Kenjaku laugh with his one-shot gag. And then on Kenjaku's face, he's actually got make me laugh written on it. And then he makes his Wi-Fi joke, which doesn't make Kenjaku laugh at all. And Kenjaku destroys Takaba. I mean, this guy is speaking like, you know those basement dwellers on Reddit who just absolutely live there and they just spend their whole days typing paragraphs on paragraphs? That's Kenjaku right now. Like, if Kenjaku existed in our real world and he was a regular guy, he would be one of those guys wasting his life away on Reddit typing meaningless argument after meaningless argument, because he just dismantles the joke of Takaba into such depth. It is absolutely crazy. And Kenjaku even says, I'm a pro at comedy, and even says to the joke that Takaba made, so it's the same joke he actually made in the Reggie fight, what would that convey to the message of the viewer watching the TV? And he even tries to make the joke better. He actually says, oh, it'd be better if you said, if I pull out my spine. And he says that he's conveying it wrong. And it's this whole explanation. Again, I will have the text on the screen. And Takaba makes this very annoyed face, and we actually see with his curse technique, they actually transport to this mini room just for a moment. And the room is created just for the sake of the joke, which is probably true because Takaba's curse technique manipulates reality itself. And Kenjaku is just destroying it. And Takaba says it hurts me when someone who understands logically denies me. And he says it's not fun doing comedy with you. And then after this, Kenjaku actually lands a solid hit on Takaba. It's a pretty nasty elbow hit right to his stomach. And Kenjaku says he's figured out the conditions for Takaba's curse technique, which is the user's confidence and certainty. That's really interesting because Kenjaku isn't completely right. He's actually missing what it actually is. What Takaba's curse technique is, if he finds something funny, then it comes to reality. Kenjaku doesn't know this, so he's he's wrong, but the thing is Kenjaku's close enough to the truth that it doesn't matter. Where it is true that if you break Takaba's confidence and you make him find his jokes not be funny anymore, and Kenjaku thinks he's not funny anymore, so his certainty is shattered, then his curse technique wouldn't be able to work, since the whole point of his curse technique is it's whatever Takaba finds funny is what comes into reality. So if he doesn't find it funny, then it's not going to happen. So Kenjaku's figured it out close enough, like not completely, but he's close enough. And that's what Kenjaku's been trying to do. He's been trying to just break his confidence. And Takaba's enraged. He's saying, oh, you've never been on stage before. Even if you don't find it funny, it doesn't matter if other people find it funny. And then Takaba says, let's play a game. If you laugh, you lose. And Takaba makes a funny face, but Kenjaku counters with this hilarious face. It is identically similar to the one Yuji had actually made in a chapter extra. I hope I'm showing it on the screen now. But what he's doing is on top of that, he's actually opening his skull as well to show his brain. It is genuinely so funny. All I'm saying is the Heian comedy completely clears the modern comedy. Listen, we already know that the Heian eras are stronger than the modern day sorcerers, but the fact that they're funnier too, I mean, come on modern day, what do you got? We have Mr. Comedy himself, we have the funny man Takaba, getting out-comedied by a Heian era comedian. I just know for a fact that this joke that Kenjaku just made was making people back in the Heian era, back in those comedy clubs back then, just piss themselves laughing. He has just made one of the elite Heian jokes, like a 1,000-year-old joke that's been simmering there. And Takaba loses, like he actually just bursts out laughing and Kenjaku just socks him right in the face. And this completely crushes Takaba's confidence actually. Takaba starts losing his cool and thinks Kenjaku is funnier than him. He tries to actually encourage himself by saying, it's okay, I'm funny too. And we see that the punch actually did a lot of damage to his face because his curse technique is not rejecting it as much as it was before. But Takaba loses his confidence as he sees Hazunoki's dead body. And it's at that moment when reality actually sets in. Because it's all fun and jokes, but the moment Takaba starts to actually lose his confidence and he's starting to step into reality, and that is a gruesome shot by the way, when he sees Hazunoki's dead body. That is very gruesome. And Kenjaku looks down on him menacingly and says, what's wrong? Laugh, you're a comedian, aren't you? Oh my god, he's actually saying, do your job, do the funny. Takaba thinks this isn't laughable and loses his confidence and thinks, wait, why am I even a comedian? So it seems like we're going into a flashback. All I'm saying is my prediction for the next chapter is we're going to wake up with Takaba in a comedy club, and Takaba's actually going to be talking to his manager that we saw him talking to before he got his curse technique. And his manager's going to ask, so how was the king of comedy, Kenjaku? And Takaba's going to say, oh, he was freaking hilarious. The funniest guy I've ever seen. No one could beat this guy when it comes to comedy. And Takaba says, I tried my best, I gave it my all, I gave my best jokes, but he was too much. I'm jealous that I couldn't make him laugh. We're probably going to get that next chapter, and I really do hope we see memes of this happening as well. That would be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, like I did predict, I predicted that this fight would only be 2 chapters. I thought after the first one, Takaba would probably be getting destroyed, and the second one, he would lose. It's looking that I'm right, though maybe not. It seems like we're going into a flashback, but knowing GEGE and his pace, it might just be a super short, couple pages flashback, then back to reality, where Takaba may do something, like he may come back and he may start fighting back, but I don't know about it, to be honest. It's Kenjaku. It is what it is. There's no shaming in losing to this monster, and I never expected him to win. I thought the best he could do would be a low diff. Again, considering the fact that Kenjaku could instant kill him at any moment, like he doesn't even need to do all this. He could just activate his domain expansion and kill him, but it does seem like Kenjaku's also goofing around for the sake of it, and he's also conserving his cursed energy. I mean, he's about to beat Takaba without using any cursed energy at all, whereas a domain expansion would take a large amount of it, and it's not like he can waste it all around because he's gonna have to fight a lot of strong characters like Yuta, Akari, and Maki soon, if they actually defeat Sukuna. So that's why he's not just opening his domain and instant killing Takaba, which he actually could do. Like, it's pretty depressing thinking that Kenjaku could instant kill Takaba at any moment, but I mean, it's pretty crazy. This is the last way I expected it to go. He just out-funny Takaba. I truly didn't see this coming. He was just so much funnier than him that he shattered his confidence. Hopefully Takaba does get up next chapter. I do feel bad for him. I don't want him to die. My prediction is that Yuta is going to step up at the end of the last chapter and maybe save him there, or maybe Maki will step in, but they did say they didn't want to split their forces up. Man, shout out Angel as an absolute scumbag. Takaba saved your life and you just rat him out. You sell him out. You make him go fight Kenjaku one-on-one. Come on, Angel. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Yuji's curse technique. So we actually did get a special page with Yuji's ability, I don't want to say curse technique actually, on his arm, and we see it colored. So by the way, his hand is a completely different shape, like it's fully red, and it seems really weird. It seems like the actual slashing thing on his arm is like a cut. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it is pretty important information, so it looks like it may not be cleaving his mantle, since initially people thought it was cleaving his mantle, since they thought it was his regular arm, but then we saw a massive slash coming out of it, and we also saw the claws look like Sukuna's. Looking at it now, it doesn't actually look like a slash, but more like a scale, that actually part that was sticking out of him. And it looks pretty similar to a curse, to be honest, so it's looking more likely that it's actually a curse tool rather than just cleaving his mantle or a curse technique. And if it is a curse technique, it's looking like the theory that I made, and many other people made, like tons of people made this theory, where he's actually using the death painting's curse technique. So this is one of the death painting's curse technique. It's looking like that may be true as well, and it also could be a curse tool, again, because he only has it on one arm, so one of his arms doesn't have it, but one does, so maybe it's tools that he's equipping, and in the page that we actually see, he's only equipped it on one hand and maybe not the other one yet. Or if it is a curse technique, he's only activated on one hand so far. Or maybe it's a transformation, so only beginning to see the beginning of the transformation, and perhaps the next time we see Yuji, we'll see a full transformation, so his whole body is going to be this scaly weird creature thing, and is going to have white scales as well. It's pretty interesting, and I do think that this one page, even though nothing's said, we don't actually see anything, it does tell us a lot, because we're seeing it in a lot of depth, we're seeing it in color and at a completely new angle, and it's very interesting because we see he's only got to activate specifically on one hand and not the other one. But I can't wait for the Takaba flashback that we might be getting next chapter, and also hopefully some more Yuji next chapter as well, because I'm so curious about his curse technique. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. A ton of crazy theories, spoiler videos on chapters like this one, analysis, power scaling, because like I said in the intro, over 90% of people who watch my channel aren't subscribed. So believe me, if you love JJK, you want to see JJK videos, you will not regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to the channel members as well. It is much appreciated. Thank you guys very much. But that's all from me. Have a lovely day, guys, and take care.